Hello there and welcome. Today I'll be making a tutorial or I'm beginning my tutorial series on Python and this video is going to be the first one and it's going to be discussing what Python is and also I'll be going through a basic hello world file as is typical from programming languages. So what is Python? Python is a high-level programming language with a focus on readable syntax and such, so it doesn't have some of the quirks of some other programming languages. Like for instance, if you're using C, you might, you put everything inside the main function and then you do like bracket things to actually make things inside the function. In Python, you don't do it like that. It's a lot less. It's just basically just short lines of code. So in many ways, it's simpler, but it is a high level language because of that. And that's that. Python has many use cases. It can be used for basically anything. There's a lot of modules to actually expand its functionality, and you can make games with it. You can use it for calculations. You can use it for all kinds of things. So it is a good language. One thing to note, it is a bit of a slower language since it is so high level. Of course, you can make it fast if you use modules, but if you just type everything in Python and you do all the default Python stuff, it's going to be longer. It's going to take longer and it's going to be slower than C, for example, because that's a lower level language. So I'll just begin by making a file. Now, there are some things you want to take into account. One, you don't need to name it in any particular way. You can use whatever. So we'll just go with hello world, and then you want the extension to be correct. That does matter. So it needs to be py. That's always the extension in Python file, and you can see already VS Codium is correctly detecting that we're talking about Python here. And as you can see, VS Codium also detects that I actually able to use Python. And yeah, this comes into another topic, which I'll be discussing later, which is that it doesn't need to be compiled specifically beforehand. You just kind of run it with Python and it runs. So let's begin by writing our file. This file is one single line. And now, as I said, it's a lot simpler to write things in Python than it is, for example, in C, because it does all the things for you. And the writing of the hello world file is very simple. You want to do print like this, and you want to use brackets like you would in any language, normal brackets in the case of Python. And inside this, you can use you can use either double this normal quotation marks or whatever, or you can use these single quotation marks, I guess. And either way will work. So we'll just type in hello world in here, and once you run that, you can see you can just click run here, and it will run to the terminal. So you can see how it's able to run. So you can also run this manually. So you can do Python, then hello world.py. And it will run it like that. So we don't need to compile it like you would have to in, for example, C. We can just run it just like that. And it's very simple. Of course, many other languages do allow you to just run it, but C is not one I know, so I make a lot of comparisons there. But in any case, it's very simple. You just run it, and well, here you go. It runs, and you can see you can run it manually, like with Python, and then Halberd py. You might have to use term Python 3 instead if you're using if you're using a Linux distribution that requires that. Mine works just Python because it's already the default, the 3. So I can just do Python, and it will run it in Python 3. But yeah, you can see it's very simple. To actually run the programs, it does take a lot, and many IDEs have buttons for just running them. So it's very simple, very easy, and it's too simple to make a hello world program. In the following tutorials, we'll be looking at some more complex things. We'll be looking at kind of expanding how can you do more than printing hello world, and we'll also look more at print. But uh, I'll leave it at that, and I hope you enjoyed and found this useful.